The story begins with a girl named Kaya. She lives with her younger brother and father. A few days ago, her mother died in a boat accident. Due to this incident, all the joy in their family seems to have been lost. Everyone in the house keeps quiet in their grief. But Kaya strengthens herself to handle the situation. She takes care of her brother and doesn't let her father feel alone. Because of this, she almost stopped going out of the house. But today, her friend Tay calls her to go out for a while. Her father was fixing the boat on which Kaya's mother died. Seeing the boat reminds her of her old pain. Kaya doesn't want to leave her father in this state. But still, she tells him that she is going to go out with Tessa. After a long time, she takes a jeep out of the house. Going to the seashore, she meets Tessa. From there, they plan to go to the sea with Jetis. Tessa tells her that her boyfriend is also coming with them. Kaya doesn't like many people, so Tessa convinces her that there is nothing to worry about. Her brother is also coming with her boyfriend, who is his good friend, and Kaya will like it very much. After much persuasion, Kaya agrees. Later, she meets the two brothers and finds out. They actually make blogs, and today's entire plan was theirs. They decided to go to a nearby island and return by evening. Then the four of them set off with Jedis. Tessa sits with Xander, and Kaya sits with Julian. They quickly reach the island while having a lot of fun. After going to the island, Tessa starts spending time with her boyfriend, and Kaya sits by the sea and starts talking to Xander. Gradually, their conversation deepens, and personal matters are discussed. Xander impresses Kaya, and Kaya also feels comfortable with him. Then the four of them laughed and joked and had a lot of fun. It seemed that all of Kaya's worries had disappeared. Kaya and Xander swam in the water and went a little further away. And Teffa and Julian were sitting by the sea and talking. After a long time, she had started to enjoy his company so much. It felt like she had finally found someone who truly understood her. After swimming for a long time, Xander came closer and kissed Kaya. Kaya was also genuinely happy in that moment. A little while later, they all decided to head back. And from this point on, the story takes a terrifying turn. To impress Tessa, Julian suddenly increased the speed of the jet ski. Meanwhile, Xander and Kaya were behind them. They had no idea that this little bit of fun was about to turn into a life-threatening disaster. Because of the excessive speed, the jet ski suddenly flipped over, throwing both of them into the water. And at that very moment, Xander was also coming from behind at a very high speed. Without seeing them, they crashed the jet ski directly into Julian. The impact threw both of them into the water as well. Because of just one small mistake, everything changed within seconds. Xander suffered a severe head injury and lost consciousness. Within moments, both jet skis sank beneath the water. Kaya somehow managed to help Tessa stay calm. After that, they found Xander badly injured, but there was no sign of Julian. They kept calling out to him for a long time, but there was no response. They searched everywhere around them, yet they couldn't find him. The truth was, because of the accident, by that time, Julian had already died and sunk into the deep ocean. They were all devastated, because no one had ever imagined that one small moment of fun would lead to such a terrible tragedy. Now, Kaya and Tessa were holding on to the unconscious Xander as they drifted in the middle of the sea. They had no idea what to do next. Just then, by pure luck, they spotted a boat in the distance. They started shouting as loudly as they could for help. The boat's captain, Ray, noticed them and quickly steered toward them. As soon as he got closer, he realized that a serious accident had happened and they desperately needed help. One by one, he pulled all three of them onto the boat and reassured them that now they were finally safe. Xander was in the worst condition and he had lost a significant amount of blood. After a while, Tessa went inside to use the restroom, where Ray was already standing. Meanwhile, something strange became noticeable. From inside, Ray kept secretly looking over at Kaya, who was outside taking care of Xander. Kaya then called out to Tessa, but there was no response. When Tessa still didn't return after a long time, Kaya went inside to look for her. There, Ray appeared to be busy with something, and he was pouring some kind of chemical onto a piece of cotton. Kaya assumed that he was preparing medicine to clean Xander's wounds. So, Kaya stood there and thanked Ray for saving Xander's life. But within moments, everything changed. In the middle of their conversation, Ray suddenly pressed a chemical-soaked cloth over Kaya's mouth. Within seconds, she lost consciousness. It was now clear that Ray was not a kind rescuer, but a dangerous criminal. After Kaya passed out, Ray carried her to a large storage container on the boat, locked her inside, and secured it from the outside. However, he left the injured, Xander outside in his critical condition. About 2 hours later, Kaya regained consciousness. She found herself trapped inside a dark place and was terrified. Right beside her, Tessa was still unconscious. Kaya quickly woke her up. The place where they were being held looked like a small room. It was obvious that someone had been imprisoned there before. Nearby, the word help was carved into a piece of wood, meaning someone had previously tried to call for help from that place. There were bloodstains everywhere, along with strands of women's hair scattered around. Seeing all of this, they realized that they were not the first victims to be trapped there. The horrifying scene made Tessa break down in tears, and little by little, said, "If only we had never come to this island today." But there was no point in regretting it now. Somehow, they had to come up with a plan to escape. After one day had passed, the next morning, Ray opened the door and threw in a bucket of rotten fish. Kaya pleaded with him, "Please, let us go. We need to get to a doctor. My little brother is waiting for me at home." But Ray threatened them, saying, "This is my boat. Only my rules matter here. If either of you tries to escape, I'll kill you both and feed your bodies to the fish." After saying that, he slammed the door shut. A little later, Ray was seen with a large number of fish, cutting up fish and eating them raw, without even cooking them. Watching him, it seemed like this was part of his daily routine. He looked completely fearless, as if he had nothing to fear. Inside the container, Kaya and Tessa were trembling with fear. They couldn't understand why they had been kidnapped. Around noon, they suddenly heard the sound of a large ship. Hope filled Kaya and Tessa's hearts. They thought the police had finally come to rescue them and that they were going to survive. But the truth was far more horrifying. In reality, a doctor had anchored his ship some distance away and was approaching in a small boat. As soon as he arrived, the first person he noticed was Xander, who was on the verge of death. He smiled and said, "He's still alive. There's nothing to worry about. He'll be useful to us as well." After that, Ray took him down to the container. Inside, Kaya and Tessa were sitting in a corner, terrified. The doctor calmly said, "Don't be afraid. I'm a doctor. Tell me, which one of you is injured?" Tessa nervously stepped forward, and the doctor examined her. However, neither of them told him that. They were being held captive by force, because they had already realized that these two men were working together. After the examination, the doctor and Ray went back upstairs. There, they made a deal with each other, making it clear that they were involved in a much bigger organ trafficking ring. They preyed on helpless people stranded at sea and sold their organs for profit. After the deal was finalized, they brought Xander upstairs. The doctor prepared everything and took out his surgical equipment. Meanwhile, Kaya tried to peek through a small gap in the door to see what they were doing to Xander. Suddenly, Xander let out a horrifying scream. It was so terrifying that the two girls trapped below began trembling in fear. After a while, the screams suddenly stopped. At that moment, they finally realized the horrifying truth about these monsters and broke down in tears. Upstairs, no mercy was shown. They brutally removed Xander's organs one by one, and after they were finished, his body was thrown into the ocean. Then the doctor said to Ray, "The second girl downstairs is injured too. I'll finish with her tonight. As for the girl who's still healthy, I'll take her with me. I have a wealthy client who will pay a fortune for her." In return, they would make a huge amount of money. Ray agreed immediately, because this was exactly what he did, pretending to rescue people stranded at sea, only to lead them straight to their deaths. A few hours later, when night fell, they came downstairs again. This time, they forcefully dragged Tessa upstairs. Kaya tried to stop them, but Ray struck her hard, knocking her unconscious on the spot. A short while later, Ray handed Tessa over to the doctor. Before beginning the operation, the doctor turned the music up as loud as possible so that Tessa's screams couldn't be heard outside. Meanwhile, Kaya regained consciousness in the container below and heard Tessa crying out in pain. She realized that Tessa was still alive, and if she wanted to save her, she had to come up with a plan immediately. The only way to get out was to escape the container. She began trying to remove the ventilation fan attached to it. After pushing with all her strength, part of it finally came loose, and she somehow managed to squeeze her way out. Meanwhile, the doctor and Ray had tied Tessa's hands and feet, and the doctor was about to put her unconscious and begin his work. At that very moment, Kaya quietly slipped inside Ray's cabin. Suddenly, Ray walked in, so she quickly hid in the engine room below. When Ray went to the restroom, Kaya came out and started searching for something she could use to save Tessa. That's when she spotted a spare gun. She was completely alone, so she quietly stepped inside. Even though she was terrified, Kaya gathered the courage to step outside. She aimed the spear gun directly at the doctor and fired. The doctor was shocked to see that she had escaped. He tried to trick Kaya by talking to her, but she didn't give him a single chance and fired again. The doctor was wounded and collapsed. Kaya immediately ran over and untied one of Tessa's hands. Just then, the furious doctor attacked Kaya from behind and wrapped his hands around her throat, trying to choke her. At that moment, Tessa grabbed a knife lying nearby and stabbed the doctor in the neck. After striking him several times, the doctor was critically injured and, while struggling in agony, died on the spot. Without wasting a second, the two girls fled as fast as they could. After they escaped, Ray came back and found the doctor's dead body. Instantly, he realized what had happened and went into a panic. Like a madman, he started searching for them everywhere. First, he released the air from his own boat to make sure they couldn't escape with it. But in reality, they weren't using a boat at all. They were swimming through the water toward the doctor's ship. Ray rushed to the deck, and the moment he switched on his flashlight, he spotted them swimming away. He immediately tried to start the boat and chase them, but the engine wouldn't start. When he went down to inspect it, he discovered that the engine wires had been cut. Before escaping, Kaya had cut the main engine cable. She knew that Ray would definitely come after them, and the only way to survive was to get herself and Tessa to the doctor's ship. Ray fell silent for a moment and began thinking of another terrifying plan to catch them. Meanwhile, in the water, Tessa's injuries made it impossible for her to swim properly. Kaya struggled to pull her forward, but Tessa was losing hope. She looked at Kaya and said, "Leave me behind and save yourself. Otherwise, both of us will die." Would die. Hearing that, Kaya made a difficult decision. She would swim to the ship alone, get help,